Thank you very much. Chloe, you're loved and you're beautiful. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
What I would like to ask you, this is something that applied to all the other lectures that I heard yesterday and today. What infuriates me and a lot of the American people is how the words have been hijacked. Is there anything legislatively, academically, that we can do to turn that around? Because the use of words ESG, DEI, gender care, they don't mean anything. I mean, at least they say they are going to mean they do good for people. So I'd like to know where we're going on that, and maybe TPPF can become the Frankfurt School reverse.
Chloe looked at me when you asked that question. I was answering this.
That's a heritage question.
No, it's absolutely a great question. That's right. There's pushback on the ESG and the DEI stuff, so that's a subject for another panel. I have opinions on it. Something that's going to need to be done is something that never needed to be done until now, which is a really clear definition of sex, male and female, in law, in state law. So the federal government under President Biden right now is in the process of trying to change the meaning of the word sex in Title IX. Title IX was the 50 years ago, right? The law that is mostly responsible for the explosion of female sports. So they want to redefine sex to include gender identity. Now, as I mentioned a little while ago, gender identity isn't a synonym for sex. It's a different thing. And so we have all these laws in which we just presuppose everybody knows what male, female, and sex are, and then sometimes have to find them. And so states that don't have really clear, precise definitions grounded in biological reality of these terms are going to need to do that, and then to distinguish them from gender identity. And then this complicated word gender, which used to be a rough synonym for sex, and then came to be separated from it, and then became a stand-in for gender identity. So you can see this is work for philosophers and lawyers to nail this stuff down. But the states have to do this, and they're going to go head-to-head with the current federal government, who is trying to do the opposite, but it has to happen.
And I'm going to dovetail on that if I can, and I think the other piece of the answer to your question is that we need to have better control of what's going on in education. These concepts are easy to force on society because there are willing foot soldiers in every school and every college and university across this nation, and that's where the problems start. So you think about, the effects of social transitioning in school and pronouns and, all of the different things that are going on and how that relates to this particular issue. That is all learned behavior. The people in our schools that are advocating for that stuff didn't just come up with that on their own. They learned that from the people that taught them how to be teachers and counselors and psychologists and stuff like that. And so we need to start holding these institutions accountable, and we need to start holding the non-governmental organizations accountable, like the American Board of Medical Specialties, like the ACGME, like the other professional societies and agencies and organizations that are out there where there's really no accountability outside of their own society for any of the things that they say or do. They hold themselves out to be experts, and they promulgate dogma, and that used to be okay when the science was good and the science was valid, but they have sold their souls on this stuff, and it's time for us to hold them accountable.
And I just want to jump in as well. As an attorney, I am a firm believer that words matter and words have meaning. It drives my wife crazy when we're having discussions at home. But the answer to your question is, yes, there are things that members like Representative Oliverson can do, but you don't have to wait for him. You don't have to wait for the Texas Public Policy Foundation to do something about it. Every single one of you in this room can do something about it from the moment you leave this room, and that's do not comply. Words have meaning. The left is trying to erase those meanings, redefine those meanings, muddy those waters. Don't play the game. That's what you can do.